Hey guys, it's Ben. I'm really excited to do this vlog because I finally got some questions from some friends of mine that I can answer for you. So I guess I'll just go right into that. Um, the first three questions are a little bit deep, meaning, I guess. So I'll start with that and then end with the funny stuff. Um, so from episode three, um, my friend Naomi asked the following three questions. From episode three, Crazy Cat versus a reality check, she said, is the saying, open quote, you can't miss what you've never had, close quote, true for you? Most kids get to play on playgrounds, um, hurt around in the woods, while playing hide and seek, climbing trees, and since you never had that chance to do some of those things, can you truly, open quote, miss them, close quote? Or is it a different type of feeling? Um, there are certain things that obviously I've missed. Uh, Whenever I think about that question, what comes to mind the most would be when I was a teenager. I um, There was some really hard stuff going on at home when I was growing up, and then also just being a teenager and being able to jump in your friend's car and take off and all that stuff. That really got to me because I felt really stuck, and it's one of the only things I've ever really let bother me. I know, it's probably sounds like I'm, just like, oh, it's fine. But it's true. I mean, I've kind of just always learned that, I need to make the best out of the situation that I have. Obviously, there are days where I get really mopey and kind of sad about things. Um, but I always try to make the best out of the situation I'm in because, you only live once and I want to have the best time I can have. Um, so, from episode 4, Independence Day, ironic. It's been hard dealing with death knocking at the door of my best friend and his baby brother, whom I personally love like a brother. How do you deal with your own mortality? Knowing that your, open quote, predicted lifespan, close quote, is shorter than others, how has it changed you? And how do you view the world? What are you most afraid of when it comes to your own death? Well, that's pretty deep. Getting deep on me now. Um, well, you know, kind of like what I guess I just sort of answered that in the last question. Um, I feel very strongly and passionate about living each day to the fullest, like doing things that make me happy, that make me feel alive, surrounding myself with people I love, hanging with friends, petting my dog, snuggling with my dog, snuggling with my cat, whatever, blaring music in my headphones, um, whatever it may be in that particular moment of time that I know will make me feel happy and alive and free is what I do. Um, do I weigh my decisions differently based on the fact that I know that I won't be on this earth for as long as the average person? Absolutely. And there are times that I feel like I'm, quote unquote, running out of time. Um, but, you know, again, just if I sat and I dwelled on that, then I would be, forever stuck in this circle of, well, I can't do this, so I'm not going to, and then, well, I'm sad because I'm not doing this, and, just this constant thing. And unfortunately, I've known people like that in my life with disabilities who feel like, you know, they can't do what they want to do, so why bother? You'll come to find out that there are quite a few things that you can do out there that are just as, fulfilling and make you feel just as alive as if you didn't have, the obstacle of the wheelchair to, you know, mesh into your life. And then the last question is, nope, that's a lie. There's two more. Episode 6, 17 years and counting. I know how much you love to work with youth, especially those who are troubled in one way or another. What made you decide that working with them, teaching them, and leading them is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. Um, I've spoken about the Hampshire Teen Institute for and all the different ways I've been involved, volunteering with youth, and I've just always loved it so much. Um, I just feel like, kids are sponges, and they soak up everything. And I love, when I have that opportunity at the summer program to teach these kids about um, trans identity and what it's like to live with a disability that's very physically um, taxing and makes you, dealing with pain and dealing with all those kinds of things. And I just love to see the light in their eyes, as cheesy as that may sound, when they see that light bulb and they're like, oh wow, that's amazing, and realizing that there are, we're not so different, and that everybody has their own differences. That's the whole point. If we were all the same, we'd be pretty boring. Um, so that's really it. I love to educate. I love to teach, no matter who it is, really. But youth are definitely hold a special place to my heart, because I know that when I was their age, if I had an adult to look up to um, that was able to explain to me all the things that I was looking for answers for, that I would have felt a lot less lost. So that's kind of a big reason why I do it. Um, and episode 8, Cripple Cards Rule. How do you personally? So this is a funny kind of question. Well, this goes along with the next one. It was about my last post about using the cripple card. Um, how do you personally treat others who treat you as quote unquote just a guy in a wheelchair versus who you really are, a normal guy who happens to need the assistance of a wheelchair? You know, I'm really glad you asked this question, because I'm somebody that very much believes in the idea of person first language. And what I mean by that is, instead of saying, like she said, the guy in the chair, the guy, who uses a wheelchair, or, you know, Bennett's a really cool guy, and, he happens to be in a chair. Having it be, not the first thing you talk about, because immediately that defines you, and people think, well, the chair, and, then clearly that means that they're not all mentally there, and, they can't communicate, and blah, blah. And a lot of people feel that way, sadly so. So I just like to definitely, um, not that anyone is normal, so for lack of a better word, but I like to be as quote unquote normal as everyone else, and just help them realize that my wheelchair doesn't define me. And lastly, my friend Miranda Doobie, who I lovingly call Dupes, um, said, "What's your best cripple card moment in ever?" Please, with lots of ease. Um, I have to say that there's been quite a few. I've been pretty lucky, but what comes to mind the most would probably be whenever um, I've been at a few times. I've been at concerts, and they will seat me up front or close to the front because they feel bad for me or whatever. Just to give you a quick example, I recently saw Alanis Morissette with my good friend Jess, and we literally could not see anything. And I know that everyone stands at concerts. I mean, that's a given, and you can't be like, sit down, sit down, sit down. So, you know, I get that, but it's just frustrating when they don't think about the fact that I'm sitting, therefore I'm not going to be able to see anything. So Jess spoke up, and there's an example of using the cripple card. I got to use my disability to my advantage to get much better seats, to soak in the amazingness of Alanis, and it was good times. Um, Besides that, things that come to mind are, being a kid and having, all the candy thrown at you at the parades, or, um, going to the Christmas parties that MDA put on, and getting spoiled, and in some ways, obviously, it feels a little weird, but in other ways, it's definitely helped me to um, enjoy some things I wouldn't be able to do otherwise, which is a really cool idea because it ties back into all the questions about, what you would do, you know, what it's like um, to fit in and to do what you want to do and be, as typical, you know, human being as possible, and realize that everyone is different and everyone has their own challenges to face. So I hope that was entertaining. Sorry, it's a little long, but I would absolutely love more questions. Please, 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 anything you want to know. It's really fun to answer them for you. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed the rest of your summer. And fall's around the corner. It's on the trees, which is A, really depressing, but B, really beautiful at the same time. Um, so for all you, you know, people out there who don't want the warm weather to end, um, you better get out there and enjoy life and do things that make you feel alive. Um, all right. Until next time, peace, love, and I'll talk to you soon.